Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's a bit of a different video this time around. For one thing, it's not exactly an LP per se, but more over an opportunity, if you will, for me to express some concerns over the up-and-coming DLC for Sonic Origins. Now, I know it's been done to death, and I know a lot of people probably have their own opinions on the matter, but I just figured I'd take the opportunity to express some of my concerns, even if some of them may be the same as the rest of you. Also, too, and it has occurred to me that I haven't really played this game in the fabled mirrored mode as often as I should have. Now, another reason I'm doing this is because I did have a long time ago, back in 2012, I believe, back when Konami was shutting down Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. They were basically, no, not Master Duel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. Yeah, about 10 years before Master Duel came out, they shut down Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. Look, anyway, that's not important. Anyway, around that time I actually had a LP of, well, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, the problem with that video, when I had that on this channel, was that the quality was, let's just say it was very awful. I mean, like, external webcam, rotating your laptop to the appropriate angle, you know, third-party camera, that kind of thing, guerrilla-style footage. So, yeah, suffice to say, even if I still had that video, it wasn't very good. So, I don't know how far I'm... Now, this game does have almost up to the moment saving, so I'm not going to really... I'm probably going to play for as long as I feel comfortable with, so... Anyway, getting back to Sonic Origins here. So, as you know, this game came out last year at around June. And, well, suffice to say, I mean, it's been pretty good so far. I mean, well, they're the classics, right? Even if they don't have the original Genesis tracks, I mean, they did have, this version of the game does have the tracks that I more or less grew up with. My first exposure to Sonic 3 and Knuckles as one continuous game was actually on the PC. And little did I know that the sound quality is based on whatever sound card you had on the computer at the time. So this version of the game is not exactly one for one as far as sound quality was for that computer, but you know, it is what it is. So apart from my nostalgia for this game, there is a few things I'm a little concerned with. Well, first of all, I mean, I know a lot of people have said over and over again that it's actually, ironically, cheaper, or it would have been cheaper for some of us to actually wait for the Plus version of this game before actually buying this game and then going out of their way to buying it. Now, the way I look at it is that, you know, I mean, the amount of money you spend is based on whether or not you think it was worth the price, right? So, I mean, I can see the argument that a lot of people want to save money and such, but really, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you do get what you pay for. Plus, you have to understand, I mean, there's a lot of things they're trying to put into this game. Now, I'm not trying to defend Sega, you know, because I'm not their lawyer. I mean, but, you know, some people think it's worth the price, some people don't. I mean, I kind of did the same thing with Sonic Mania when it first came out, you know. I thought Mania was the end-all, be-all, you know. I mean, it wasn't... I thought it was like the end-all, be-all in true Sonic the Hedgehog 4, right? Not unlike that Wii version that came out that was trying to be Sonic 4, you know? But the thing is, when Sonic Mania Plus came out, I mean, I still bought... I mean, I bought Origins for... sorry, I can't speak today. I bought Sonic Mania first, and then got the Plus upgrade later. Now, one of the things that I'm more concerned about is how they're going to handle the online time attack. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, it's like this, right? Actually, I can show you right now. Okay, so let's see, filter, Sonic Mania. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you some old footage of. Hold on, is there a details button? Pause. Editing and sharing. Okay, so this was actually just last year, April 28th, but anyway, oops. Hold on. How do I pause? Oh, okay, it's the right stick. Okay, so this is a completed time attack run. Now, you see how now, watch what happens when I try to save a replay. It won't save a replay because it says there's no space on my SD card. But I know for a fact there was space on the SD card. Now, I don't know if it's because I bought the Plus upgrade as opposed to buying it as one whole complete game or not, but for whatever reason it wouldn't let me save my best times on my own system, you know, local best times. Now, the reason I think I can't save my best times, even locally, is because I think it has something to do with... Wow, that is loud. I think it has something to do with the fact that the online leaderboards have just... Well, I mean, look at it. It's got times that nobody can possibly have unless you were to hack the game. Now, I think it's because that everybody has more or less surpassed me to a point where... I think it's because everybody has surpassed me with ludicrous times that I can't even save local best times on my machine. Now, here's the thing about... Here's my take on online leaderboards. I myself don't particularly care about it, honestly. I mean, leaderboards are fine, but, you know, sometimes you just want to improve upon yourself, right? You don't want to have to compete with everybody else, because everybody else, I mean, you know, those people eat, breathe, and sleep this game. And then there's people like me who actually do other things besides play video games. You know, we have jobs and whatnot, you know? So I'm a little concerned that the time attack or leaderboards for Sonic Origins, I'm a little concerned that maybe it too might suffer the same fate. Now I have tried to talk to Sega about maybe fixing the time attack mode on Mania before, but unfortunately they never got back to me on it. In fact, I'm sure other people may have sent letters to them and they haven't been addressed. So, if you want to do me a huge favor, if you're a fan of Sega, you know, try to express this specific concern. Now, I don't expect them, of course, to retroactively go in and fix, you know, their old games, because, you know, why do that when you can devote all your efforts into the new games, right? Or it could very well be that the reason this is an issue here on this version of Sonic Mania is because it might be on the Switch. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played Mania on Xbox or PlayStation 5 or whatever, you know. I only own this game via the Switch, like I said, so again, that's just basically my concern. I don't necessarily care about the online leaderboards. I just want to be able to save my best time locally. Now, I suppose what I could do is go old school and take like a screen cap or pen and paper and write down my best times on paper, but come on. If you have the technology to save it in other ways, why do it the old-fashioned way, right? So that's one concern I have. Another issue I have, and it's not so much an issue, but, well, you see this, the Genesis Switch Online? This is compatible with a controller that the Nintendo Switch users can buy, known as a Genesis controller. I actually acquired one recently, and unfortunately, when I tried to play Sonic Origins with the Genesis controller, the control scheme didn't exactly pan out. I can control Sonic to an extent, but there just is no Genesis controller support. Now, I don't know if there's some legality as to why you can't do that, or if there's a legality if it comes down to it, but I don't know. I just like to be able to play a Sonic game with a Genesis controller. I'm just saying. Because otherwise, the only way I can play Sonic 2 with a Genesis controller is via the Switch Online service. Speaking of which, is there any way we can get more games for this service, or are we spent? I'm not expecting miracles, of course, but I'm sure there's a lot of Genesis games that you could probably port over, right? There's one for Alex Kidd, for example. The Enchanted Castle or whatever. Just saying, Let's see what other concerns I have. Oh, yeah. One of the other concerns I have is basically the level select codes. Now, between the time what was it, Sonic Stadium? Between the time they posted a video of speed strats for this game and the time that a patch came out, there have been some codes that I guess don't work anymore, or some things just don't work anymore. For example, you can't play as Knuckles in Sonic's campaign, etc., etc. So there have been some hardline fixes. One code I think I would want between all 4 games, Genesis games here, is I'd like the implementation of the all zeros code in all of these games. In Sonic 1, 2, CD, and, well, of course, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, why the all zeros code? Well, because it's difficult, and lots of people like to play difficult things. Now, for me, I'm not that good at Sonic games to be able to endure that, but, it might make for some interesting content for content creators, that's all. Now, that's just another issue I have. Also, the thing I have to address is Tails doesn't get a super form in the Sonic Origins version of Sonic 2. Not unless you use the debug code, but still. What's up with that? As far as my take on the Game Gear games, I'm perfectly fine with it myself. Yeah, the screen crunch might be an issue. Especially since some of these Game Gear games actually have existed first on the Master System. But, like I said, I grew up with the Game Gear, and these are the games that I no longer own because... well, after I graduated high school, I needed some money because, unfortunately, I was, I didn't have an actual job at the time, so I needed to make some cash, and the only way I could make cash was to sell my complete Game Gear collection to my cousin for $60 for the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would have been a better deal to get it at GameStop or not, but, you know, I can only surmise that at least it was family I was selling it to, so, you know. Sorry, I'm trying to look for the super emeralds, so. Okay, that's not very good. I suppose another thing I'd have to ask is, I noticed that even if you fail, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, or Sonic 3, even if you fail, the game still treats you to a cutscene as if you had succeeded, you know? I don't know if there's going to be a special, like, fail cutscene or whatever that plays instead, but, I don't know. I mean, I might just be nitpicking here at this point. You know, supposedly you can get all the emeralds in Mushroom Hill, but I've never been able to do that. Oh, one other thing I would like fixed. You see that red ball in the center? Yeah, if I make my way to this place, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to the outside without acquiring or at least trying for an emerald. You know, I mean, I got tripped up when I touched that ball, so I'd kind of like that buffed out if I could. Because, you know, well, then again, I mean, the trade-off is that, I mean, we can retry a special stage if we fail as many times as we'd like, so. I mean, unless you're playing classic mode, I guess. So, yeah, those are pretty much my only concerns. That only leaves some basic gameplay here. I don't know, maybe I'll cut this video a little bit shorter, maybe by 30 minutes or something. I don't know, whatever comes first, I suppose. You know, if there was going to be some additional unlockable contents within the game, you know, like, because I'm sure at this point a lot of people are sitting on a mountain of game coins, I guess. I don't know, might do well to include some other stuff. I don't know, IDW or otherwise. I don't know. Just saying. Oh, another thing I noticed, there's like a visual sound test for Sonic CD that, for whatever reason, it doesn't include certain tracks. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the dark mixes, or I don't remember. I'd have to boot that game up to show you, and I'm not really up for it right now. But yeah, I mean, I know it's a little bit nitpicky, but, you know, I mean, especially since this game already has a whole bunch of songs on it in its own sound test, so. Okay, another Super Emerald. Oops. Oh man. I used to hate this particular special stage as a kid because I could never really get the hang of it. You basically just gotta use centripetal force. And although And although this this particular bonus stage reuses assets from the Sonic 3 title, it actually, the ring bonuses you get the higher you climb are actually bigger than they let on. Now, I don't know if that's actually supposed to be a thing or if it's a glitch, but you know, getting hundreds of rings, you know, I mean, that's pretty dope, not gonna lie. Oh, how do I get that one? Is it down here? Yes. You know, I never thought about it, but are the special stage placements inverse too in mirror mode? Again, I guess I just never really questioned it. Still wondering how Amy's gonna play like is kind of a treat in itself. I mean, if it's somehow going to be easier or perhaps maybe more difficult. Still, I'm interested in seeing Knuckles in Sonic CD. I mean, what, with that lower jump of his, it might make some of the encounters with Eggman a little bit more difficult, to be sure. To be fair, and I don't know if anybody really notices, but the robot mech's Eggman pilot, or Robotnik, excuse me, pilots in Sonic CD aren't really about attacking so much as they are about defending. Yeah. So basically, it seems like they were all designed more or less to slow Sonic down, but not actually confront him in a fight, you know? I don't know, just something I've noticed. Okay, I gotta be careful because unfortunately I can't transform if I don't have a complete set of emeralds, so whoa, go back. Sorry. Oh, I can't. Alright, fair enough. Fun fact, boys and girls. If you leave the ring box untouched and let the stage tally your score, you can start the next act with 10 rings. Otherwise, you're just going to add the 10 rings to your score at the end. See? You know, I know Knuckles' socks were always supposed to be green, but I've played a number of different versions where the Knuckles that, you know, tries to mess with you and the Knuckles that you play as. I always thought that, you know, you could tell Knuckles was evil because he was wearing yellow socks instead of the green ones. You know, because who does that, right? I mean, yellow socks. It's just unnatural. Alright, here's another one. This one. Yeah, I'm not going for perfects here. damn it. Well, that's why we have retries. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I would feel guilty, but, you know, I've already more or less earned the Super Emeralds on other systems, so the way I figure it, it's just a means of me getting them sooner. I mean, like, okay, like my take on cheating in video games, right? Like if you input codes or things to get things. I mean, see, back in the day, the early consoles used to have a device they called a game genie, right? Made by Galoob and Codemasters. Well, the thing is, and then later to fall in their footsteps would be to, you know, things like Game Shark and Codebreaker. Now, over the years, you know, my take on cheating in video games has gone from cheating because it makes you feel good to just cheating only when something is going to be inevitable, right? Like, for example, let's say you're trying to 100% a game, and whether or not you get a specific item falls under the category known infamously as luck, right? When a game of skill turns into a game of luck, you know, like, oh, maybe you'll get it this time, or maybe you won't get it that time, you know, then I think at that time, you know, it's best to break out the Codebreaker. Because, well, again, you know, even if I was a kid in those days, I still don't want to have to sit there and play the same things over and over again. Things do get repetitive after a while, right? Now, if there was something in there to keep me, you know, playing to make... See, it's one thing to cheat in a game, to just skip to the end, than it is to, you know, and deny yourself the experience of having played it, as opposed to using it for the sake of inevitability, right? I mean, it's kind of funny how we went from using cheating devices like a Game Genie, Game Shark, etc., to, you know, or no, first it was cheat codes, then it was cheating devices, and now it's just emulators and save states. You know, like the end-all, be-all, everything you could want. You know, the power of time manipulation, you know. The end-all, be-all power, more power than you could ever need, right? But the thing is, you know, there was something, I don't want to say magical, but there was something unique about, you know, using a cheating device to give yourself infinite lives or such. Because believe it or not all codes actually made your game easier to play. Some people have found codes that actually made the game a bit more challenging. I mean, unironically, you know, Nintendo could have done the same thing, you know, with the Switch here, you know. Unironically, they could have called it Nintendo Power, both in honor of their magazine and, you know, as kind of a middle finger to, you know, Galoob and Codemasters of the day, you know? I mean, I remember popping in a Game Genie for, like, Super Mario World, and one time I decided, you know what, I want to try a lower jump. I want to see if I can beat this game as good as I am at it with a lower jump. And did I? Well, the funny thing is, I don't remember. I'm not a lot, I mean, I wish I could say I was lying or telling the truth, but I just don't remember. But yeah, you know, game codes, I mean, it's just something about, you know, inputting a correct sequence of codes, and, you know, it's like you know, like, only those who know, you know, or who could benefit. Sorry, I keep talking in circles. Truth be told, I don't generally like to speak unless I'm reading from a script. But, you know, I'm talking about something that I enjoy, so you'll have to bear with me. Plus, I don't have anybody here with me to talk to, so There is that. Actually, I think the... Oops. That's fine, I don't have the power to turn... I don't have the power to turn into supersonic anyway. I distinctly remember that there was, like, another ring that was just like that, next to a seesaw. Or, seesaw? No, one of those, I don't know. Is it a seesaw? Okay, maybe this is it. Yep, here we are. So I got... Okay, so after this, it's just one emerald left. Okay, so I'm playing this one in mirror mode, so my muscle memory might be different. Might be different here. The trick with this one is to be patient. Now, if you're going to go for 100% and get the rings... Good luck, because I've never been able to do it. Not on this one, anyway. By the way, in terms of making this into an extreme stream, well, maybe down the road, an extreme Let's Play, is that I don't know what, if anything, I don't know what will change in the core game once Plus comes out, right? So... I mean, I could do a playthrough. It's just, again, I don't know what's going to change. You know, and I don't want a flood of comments saying, "Oh, well, you should try it now." You know, what are you, scrub, or whatever the kids say these days? Sorry. But yeah, there is that. I don't think there was another emerald, right? It's alright. I know where to find I know where to find the, I know where to find some rings in, the next area. Oh, we're about out of time, aren't we? Well, that's alright. I'll just beat this boss and call it good, huh? Not really meant to be a playthrough anyway. Gotta do something to keep people coming back, you know? I suppose if Amy had a hammer melee strike, it would probably, I would probably guess it would probably be like twice as effective as any spin jump, right? And probably multiplies, depending on whether or not the emeralds are going to be a factor. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of on how they could improve upon Amy, right? Because if you think about it, well, even then, Knuckles is supposedly punches, but he never does. You know, I don't see any harm in giving Amy a melee strike. Alright, well, I'm gonna end things off right here. Thanks for watching.